Recording.
Great.
Hi, I'm Laura Weissman, licensed marriage and family therapist in Newport Beach, California, and founder of Psyched About Love. Today, I am super psyched to be talking to Amanda Sasek, who is a certified sex therapist, marriage and family therapist in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and founder of Sexual Wellness Institute. So I'm super excited to be talking to her because she's going to give us some ways of talking about sex, which seems to be super taboo in our culture, and ways to make it a little bit less taboo and just a more easy conversation, because we're all about conversation and dialogue. So Amanda, thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we were chatting a little bit before about the issues that come along with differences in desire level, where one partner more, one partner less, and how to kind of normalize that, how to talk about it, and some things surrounding that. So if you want to talk about some of the things that you see in your practice and how you deal with it, that would be terrific.
Yes. So yes, differences in desire level is one of the biggest things that presents to me in my practice. People are coming in just saying one person has lower desire than the other, or just both of us feel we're not having as much sex as we'd like to be having. And just because one partner has a lower desire than the other doesn't mean we'd necessarily say that person has low desire, right? A difference in desire doesn't necessarily mean something's wrong with the other partner. They just need to learn how to kind of come together and decide, what kind of sex, how much sex, that kind of thing that they want to have. And oftentimes people aren't having those conversations.
Right. Sounds really easy. That's all they need to do is just come together and have that conversation. So how does that happen?
Yeah. So a lot of times couples get focused on, how much they're having sex, right? So we want to have sex. We're having sex right now once a month, and we really want to be having sex 2 to 3 times a week. And I really encourage them to move away from, if they can, how much they're having sex, and talk about the quality of sex. I often tell people, I'd rather have great sex once a month than crappy sex twice a week. Let's talk about how to improve the quality of your sex. And if we improve the quality of sex, in a lot of cases, desire is going to go up too.
Right. It's more attractive. It's something that they would want to engage in more often. Okay. So as an Imago therapist, we create this safe space to have a dialogue about every topic. But in our culture, sex seems to be something that, while it is everywhere, we just don't talk about it a lot. What do you think some of the reasons behind that are?
Oh, yes, so many reasons. I think one of the bigger ones being that, especially for, maybe people who are like 30 plus, maybe, they grew up in a generation where their parents just didn't talk to them about it. I think parents now are talking more to their kids about it. They are talking about masturbation as an okay thing. They're talking about sex as an okay thing to do in a loving relationship. But I think if I don't know if I'm getting the age range right, but 30 plus, your parents probably just didn't talk to you about it. It was probably we don't talk about that. We don't talk about masturbation. We don't talk about sex. So you grow up with this shame around it, around talking about it. And then you get married or whatever, you start becoming sexually active, and you're all of a sudden supposed to be able to talk about it. Well, that can be pretty difficult.
That could be a challenge, right? And back to the difference in desire levels, what are some of the reasons that you see for it? Is it always a physiological reason, or?
Yeah, so I always recommend to my clients that if they're having some kind of issue with their sexual libido or in sexual functioning that is a difference than before, right? Go to your doctor and tell them about this. There could be a myriad of reasons: medications, hormone levels, all kinds of things, medical conditions that could be impacting your sexual desire. Oftentimes, what I see is it's, a couple that's been married for a number of years. Maybe they have young kids, and they've just sort of stopped making sex a priority. And so when you stop making sex a priority, of course you stop having it. And then the longer you don't have it, sort of the more awkward that becomes. And then they end up in my office.
Right. So the less they have it, the more distance it creates. The more distance it creates, the less likely to have it. It's just a really bad cycle. And that's when they're in your office. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know we're really limited on time today, but if there were a kind of general exercise that you give to your clients to begin to bridge that distance and come back toward each other, what would that be?
Yeah, so most couples just aren't talking about it in general, right? And so, if I say, when's the last time, you and your partner had sex, and then maybe you had a little bit of a talk after sex about how it went, what was good for you? What would
Mm,
you like more of? But I do definitely recommend that be, you know, after sex is over, clothes are on, and maybe we're in a different room because I think
right.
when we're naked, we're just a little more vulnerable. And
Absolutely.
so that
And it's,
conversation can be hard.
and it's a
Um,
really vulnerable topic anyway. And it
yeah.
segues beautifully into an Imago dialogue, because the whole point of that is to keep both partners safe. And
Mhm.
there's a very kind of specific format for having that, so that the brain goes, oh, okay, we're having one of those dialogues. And it's
Mhm.
just about talking about your own
Mhm.
experience, so it relieves your partner of some of the anxiety. So that,
Yes,
yeah, okay, so that's how we'll
absolutely.
talk about it. Okay.
So just creating a space, to say, hey, what was good about that? Or what would you like more of? Most people don't do this, and
Right.
if you're not having sex in general, just talking about why you think that is, chat with your partner about why do you think we're not having sex? Are we not making it a priority? Are we not getting babysitters enough so we don't even have space to do that, right? So we're always with our young kids, and I tell people if you're not getting babysitters, you need to be.
Beautiful. So, my understanding is that the way to get closer physically is to
Hmm.
first connect verbally, speaking
Hmm.
to your partner,
Yes.
talking about what your experience is, talking about what your needs, desires, longings are. And that
Hmm.
is the first step to a
Yep.
healthier sexual relationship.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
got that? Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. You are my very first video guest, and it was a blast.
Yes,
Thank you so
it
much
was
for
great. Thank
Thank
you.
Bye. Okay, so I will end the recording there.